Today we uncover 10 Australian olive oil brands and label styles that can take you for a ride at the supermarket. Because right now, a lot of the imported extra virgin bottles on Aussie shelves are arriving old, heat-stressed, and blended so heavily that they barely taste like fresh olives anymore. The industry calls it standardization. But what it often means for you is simple. You're paying premium money for oil that's already gone flat. Stay with us, because brand number 10 is a pantry staple that might just be the most expensive vegetable oil you've ever bought. Before we name names, there's one thing you need to lock in. Real extra virgin olive oil is not meant to taste neutral. It's fresh fruit juice. When it's good, it tastes alive. You get fruitiness first, then bitterness, then a peppery kick that hits the back of your throat. That little cough people get, that's not the oil being too strong. That's often a sign you're getting the compounds people buy extra virgin for in the first place. So why do so many bottles taste smooth, oily, and blank? Because olive oil has 4 enemies: time, heat, light, and oxygen. And the modern global supply chain is basically a greatest hits album of all 4. Oil gets harvested, stored, shipped, moved again, bottled, and then sits under bright supermarket lights. It might be perfectly legal. It might even be olive oil. But by the time you open it at home, it can be tired. And once it's tired, it doesn't matter what the front label says. Your taste buds will tell you the truth. And here's the trap. Most of these bottles aren't fake in a cartoon villain way. They're technically allowed. They use vague origin statements, blended harvests, fancy European imagery, and words like pure and light that sound healthy but actually mean processed. That's why this scam works. You can do everything that feels responsible, pay more, buy the fancy bottle, choose the European-looking brand, and still end up with oil that tastes stale. In a minute, I'll give you a simple supermarket checklist that takes under 20 seconds and filters out most of the bad buys. But first, let's walk down the aisle and expose the 10 offenders and red flags you need to watch for. Number 1. Moro Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Moro is a classic in Australian kitchens, especially in big tins. It feels like the default Spanish option. Familiar, practical, always on special, and it's the one people buy when they want proper olive oil without thinking too hard. Here's the risk. Big imported tins are often a freshness gamble. Not because a tin is automatically bad. Tins can actually protect oil from light, but because of time. Big volume products tend to be blended for consistency and shipped in bulk. Then, once you open it, oxygen starts working on the oil every single day. If it takes your household months to finish a tin, the first half might be okay, and the second half might be noticeably flatter. That's when people start saying, olive oil doesn't taste like much. No, old olive oil doesn't taste like much. If you buy Moro, treat it like a product with a ticking clock. Use it fast. Keep it away from the stove. And after opening, decant it into a smaller, dark bottle so there's less air in contact with the oil. It sounds extra, but it's the difference between an oil you drizzle and an oil you tolerate. Number 2. Bertolli, imported from Italy. This is one of the biggest heritage traps on the shelf. Bertolli branding screams Italy, rustic countryside, tradition, since dates, and a vibe that says this belongs on your bruschetta. But Italian branding does not automatically mean Italian olives. And it definitely doesn't guarantee freshness. Overseas, Bertolli distributors have faced class action legal action over marketing and labeling claims tied to imported from Italy style messaging, which is exactly why shoppers should be cautious about what that wording implies. Now, even if the label is legal, the bigger issue for you is simple. If the bottle sells romance but hides harvest information, you're often paying for storytelling, not freshness. Also, watch packaging. If it's in a clear bottle, you're buying an oil that's being attacked by light while it sits on the shelf. Light doesn't just warm it up, light degrades it. So if you buy this kind of heritage branded oil, You're basically gambling that it moved quickly through the supply chain and was stored well, and that's a gamble you shouldn't have to make at premium prices. Number 3, always fresh, extra virgin. This one hurts because the word fresh is right there in the name. It feels like the brand is doing the quality control for you. You see, always fresh, and your brain relaxes. But freshness in olive oil isn't a vibe. It's measurable, it's date-based and storage-based. If a bottle doesn't tell you when it was harvested, it's asking you to trust the supply chain blindly, and this is where shoppers get burned. They buy olive oil for health, then they pour stale oil onto a salad, thinking they're upgrading their diet. But stale oil doesn't taste peppery. It doesn't taste grassy. It tastes smooth, flat and oily. So with brands like this, ignore the name and read the back. If there's no harvest date, treat it like cooking oil at best, not the star of your salad dressing. Number 4, Woolworths Macro Organic Spanish Extra Virgin Olive Oil. This is the Health Halo bottle, Macro Organic Spanish Extra Virgin. It looks like the cleanest choice in the aisle, but organic certification tells you how the olives were grown. It does not automatically tell you how fresh the oil is when you open it. Consumer testing has scored this product in a solid but not elite range, which matters because it shows organic imported can be decent, but it doesn't automatically compete with truly fresh, high-character oils. If you buy it, the key is expectation management. It can be an everyday option, especially for cooking. But don't assume the words macro organic guarantee that peppery throat hit or that bright green freshness. It's still an imported supply chain product. Number 5, Coles Imported Extra Virgin Olive Oil. This is the private label trap. It looks clean, it's priced to move. And it's the bottle people grab because they think olive oil is olive oil. But house brand imported oils are often designed to be neutral because that sells to the widest audience. A lot of Australians have been trained to think olive oil should taste smooth and mild because that's what they've been buying for years. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Real extra virgin often tastes bitter. It often has a peppery bite. Those challenging notes are the point. If an oil tastes like nothing, it's usually not giving you the experience or the compounds that people associate with quality extra virgin. If you're using it for roasting veg or frying eggs, fine, but if you're buying it to drizzle over tomatoes, sourdough, feta or salads, you're usually better off spending a little more on a fresh Australian oil that actually tastes like olives. Number 6. Anything labelled light or extra light olive oil. This is the calorie scam, and it catches people every week. Light does not mean lower calories. Olive oil is fat. Whether it's light or extra virgin, it's still basically the same calorie load per tablespoon. Light refers to flavor and color, and the reason it has less flavor and color is because it's refined. Refined olive oil has been processed to remove defects and strip flavor. That means it also strips away many of the natural compounds people actually want. So when you buy light olive oil, you are often paying olive oil money for an oil that behaves like a generic refined cooking fat. If your goal is neutral high-heat oil, you can buy a cheaper neutral oil. If your goal is olive oil benefits and flavor, light is the wrong choice. It's not light, it's processed. Number 7. Lupy Extra Virgin Olive Oil. This is the Italian-sounding name trap. Lupy looks European. It feels heritage-coded. It feels like it belongs on an antipasto board next to prosciutto and parmesan. But what matters is the origin statement on the back. If it's a blend of oils from multiple countries, you have a traceability problem. Multi-country blends can be legal and common, but they can also make freshness harder to guarantee. Because here's what happens with multi-origin blends. One batch can taste acceptable, the next batch can taste flat. And you have no idea what you're getting until you open it. That's not what you want when you're paying extra for extra virgin. If you want reliability, choose bottles that tell you exactly where and when. Specific origin, preferably a harvest date. less mystery. Number 8, Squeaky Gate All-Rounder. This one is branding psychology in a bottle. Squeaky Gate sounds like a little farm. It sounds like something you'd buy at a weekend market. It feels approachable, local, and wholesome. But in supermarkets, the only truth is the origin statement. Don't buy the vibe, buy the label. If it says product of Australia, that's one thing. If it says packed in Australia from imported ingredients, that's a totally different product. Also be cautious with phrases like all-rounder. In olive oil, good for everything can sometimes mean not great for anything. The best oils usually have a personality. Robust, fruity, grassy, peppery. The ones that try to be everything often end up bland. So if you're buying Squeaky Gate because you think you're supporting local growers, make the bottle prove it. Number 9, Olio. This is where you see the pop-up label problem. A brand appears, the bottle looks premium. The price says quality, but the oil inside can be commodity level. Here's the rule. If a brand is unfamiliar, the bottle is cheap for the volume, and there's no harvest date, that's a high-risk combo. Authentic extra virgin is expensive to produce. If a price looks too good to be true, you're usually not getting an amazing deal. You're getting an amazing story. If you've bought a bottle like this, and it smells like crayons, old nuts, putty, or a dusty pantry, that's your sign. That's not smooth. That's oxidized. Number 10, pure olive oil or classic olive oil. This is the most common pantry mistake in Australia because the wording is designed to confuse you. Pure sounds like the best one. It sounds like the clean one. It sounds like the premium one. But in olive oil labeling, pure is typically refined olive oil with a small amount of virgin oil added back for taste and color. It is not fresh-pressed extra virgin. It is a processed blend. It's not what people mean when they talk about olive oil being loaded with antioxidants and tasting peppery and green. So if the bottle doesn't say extra virgin, treat it like a cooking oil, not a health food. Pure is often refined oil wearing a nice suit. Now let's talk about the biological reality of why these labels matter so much. When olive oil is truly extra virgin, it is packed with polyphenols. These are the natural antioxidants that protect the oil from going rancid, and they are the same compounds that protect your heart and brain. But polyphenols are fragile. They are the first things to disappear when an oil is old or poorly stored. When you buy a pure or light oil, you are essentially buying an oil that has had its soul removed. It might be fat, but it isn't medicine. The chemical refining process uses high heat and sometimes solvents to strip away everything. That is why those oils have no smell and no taste. The industry calls this purity, but it is actually emptiness. Now here's the supermarket checklist that filters out most bad buys in under 20 seconds. First, look for a harvest date, not just a best before date. Best before can be 2 years away, even if the oil is already old. Harvest date tells you when it was actually made. No harvest date? That's a red flag. Second, look for product of Australia. Australian oils don't have to survive a long, hot global supply chain. Less time in transit usually means fresher oil. Third, avoid clear bottles whenever possible. Light kills olive oil. Dark glass or tins protect it. Clear packaging is basically quality on hard mode. Fourth, expect bitterness and pepper. If you've been trained to think olive oil should taste smooth and neutral, that's exactly how low-quality oil wins. Real extra virgin often has a bite. Fifth, store it like it matters. Even a great oil will die if you keep it next to the stove, half open, under light. Keep it cool, dark, and tightly sealed. And if you want a quick home test that will change how you shop forever, do this once with any bottle you already own. Pour a teaspoon into a small cup. Warm it slightly with your hand. Smell it. Good oil smells like fresh-cut grass, green banana, tomato leaf, herbs, artichoke. Bad oil often smells like crayons, stale nuts, a musty cupboard. or an old peanut jar. Then sip a tiny amount, let it coat your tongue, swallow. If there's no bitterness and no pepper, it might be old or refined heavy. If it burns your throat a bit and makes you cough, that's often the good stuff. Now what if you've already bought a dud? Don't panic, but don't drizzle it proudly either. If it tastes flat, use it only for basic cooking where flavor doesn't matter, and don't heat it to extremes. And if it tastes truly rancid like stale nuts or crayons, don't force it. Your taste buds are there to protect you. Also, don't fall for the smoke point myth. People love saying extra virgin is only for salads. Not true, you can cook with extra virgin. The real issue is waste. If you're using a high-quality, peppery, fresh oil in a screaming hot pan, you're burning off the delicate aromatics you paid for. It's not that extra virgin can't handle cooking, it's that your wallet can't handle it. So here's a smarter approach. Use your best fresh Australian extra virgin for drizzling, salads, and finishing. Use a cheaper but still decent olive oil for cooking. And avoid light and pure, because those are often the most overpriced forms of nothing. Now, viewers always ask the same question. Okay, what do I actually buy? Here are 3 olive oil options that give you a safer path in the Australian market, and they're easy to find. Recommendation 1. Cobram Estate. Cobram Estate is one of the most accessible Australian-grown extra virgin options in major supermarkets, and they actively educate shoppers on how to choose quality and avoid adulteration traps. It's a strong default pick when you want a real Australian bottle without playing guessing games. They control the process from the trees to the bottling line, which is rare for a supermarket brand. Recommendation 2. Red Island Extra Virgin Olive Oil. Red Island is another Australian extra virgin option that's widely sold and marketed as cold-pressed, and it's a good pick for people who want a straightforward local oil without European origin confusion. If you want something that tastes like actual olives instead of neutral oil, this is a good direction. It has a great balance of flavor and affordability. Recommendation 3. Aldi the Olive Tree, Australian Extra Virgin Olive Oil. This is the surprise performer. Aldi's Australian Extra Virgin has scored well in consumer testing, often making it one of the better value-for-money options compared with many imports. Just make sure you're grabbing the Australian bottle, because Aldi may stock different origins depending on the product line. It is a fantastic example of how local quality can be affordable. Recommendation 4. Boundary Bend. While often under the Cobram umbrella, Boundary Bend represents the scientific peak of Australian production. They are world leaders in testing and quality standards. If you ever see their specific estate blends, they are a masterclass in what Australian soil can produce. Recommendation 5. Viva Olive Oil. This is often found in independent grocers and some larger chains. It is another solid Australian choice that prioritizes the cold pressing method. It has a milder profile that is perfect for those who are just starting to transition away from the smooth imported blends, but still want the nutritional benefits of real extra virgin. And here's the principle that matters more than any brand name. Buy Australian extra virgin, look for a harvest date, choose dark packaging and taste it like it matters. Because it does. The olive oil industry relies on one brutal fact. Most people have forgotten what real olive oil tastes like. They've been trained by stale imports, refined blends, and pure labeling to accept bland oil as normal. But once you taste a truly fresh Australian extra virgin, grassy, bitter, peppery, you can't untaste the difference. Think about it like this. Would you buy orange juice that was 2 years old, had been boiled and then chemically bleached? Of course not. So why do we do it with olive oil? The label extra virgin should be a guarantee of freshness, but in a globalized world, it has become a marketing term. Next time you're in Woolies or Coles, don't shop with your eyes. Shop with the back label, find the harvest date, Find product of Australia, avoid pure, avoid light, avoid clear bottles, and if the brand refuses to tell you where and when, put it back. You're not just buying a cooking ingredient, you're buying the foundation of your health. Don't let a fancy picture of an Italian villa distract you from the fact that the oil inside might be dead. If this video saved your salad dressing, hit like and subscribe. We're exposing the truth about Aussie food every single week to help you protect your pantry and your wallet. And tell me in the comments what olive oil is in your pantry right now. Does it have a harvest date? And most importantly, does it actually taste peppery? Or does it taste like absolutely nothing? Let's get the conversation started below. Protect your plate. Australia.